Hello everyone and welcome to KDH Art Class. Today we're going to be doing some watercolor techniques. Students, you have already practiced creating a color wheel using just the primary colors, and you made basically 12 different colors, just starting with 3. The primary colors being red, yellow, and blue. So now that you know how to make all these other colors, with the exception of black, you cannot make black and you cannot make white. Those colors are used to create your light is with the white. See, it rhymes. Light, white. White with red makes light red, which we call pink. White with orange makes light orange. Light yellow, light green, light blue, light purple, etc. Black makes it dark, like a shadow. It's a shade. So when we add black to the red, we get a dark red. Some people call it maroon or burgundy. Black with orange, a dark orange, burnt orange. Black with yellow makes a dark yellow, which actually takes on almost a brownish color when you do it. Black with green, dark blue, dark purple, etc. So you can't make the black, you can't make the white. And technically you cannot make the red, the yellow, and the blue. If you have those 3 colors right there, red, yellow, and blue, you can make tons of colors. Can't even tell you how many because there's so many variations of it. Just grab a box of Crayola crayons, and almost all of them were made with the red, the yellow, and the blue. And they have boxes with like hundreds of crayons in it. Alright, enough of that. So we're going to be making that, making the different techniques. We're going to do 8 different techniques. One is going to be your choice. Okay. And so in order to do that, we need a piece of paper. You're going to need your set of paints. You're going to need 2 different sizes of brushes. Will make it easier. So you'll probably have the big flat brush, and you'll have a smaller pointy brush. Okay. And of course, watercolor paints don't work unless you have water. You're going to need a light colored crayon. You could use white, yellow. Remember, the white makes light, so you can have a light yellow, a light orange, a light green, that's another light green, a light red, which we call pink, or you can use white itself, so something light colored. Do not ask me, I just gave you a bunch of examples. You should be able to look at it and say, oh, that's light, and then if you grab something like this, you're going to say, oh, that's dark. Okay, we don't want dark, no dark. Just the light colors. In fact, I'm not even going to use that one. I'm just going to stick with these super duper light colored ones. Alright. So we're just going to practice on regular construction paper. It is not great, but for practice, it's perfect. You're also going to need a paper towel, or you can use the newspaper that your paper is going to be on top of. I don't have newspaper here at my house, so I have to have paper towels. And that's basically to wipe off any extra water and to check to see if your brush has been cleaned well enough. Let's start with our paper. You're going to take your paper and you are going to do the hamburger fold. So let's do it this way. No, yes. We want it nice and tall. We're going to take the top of it, so you can bring it down and line up the corners. Hold the corners as best you can, and then scoot your fingers up, scoot, 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 scoot to the middle, and then you can spread them out from there. And hopefully your corners were, oh, mine moved a little bit, not the end of the world. This is not a major art project, this is just practice. Alright, now that I have that, I'm going to take my pencil, which in my case I'm going to use a pen so that you can see it better, and I'm going to go right down the fold. Right. Then, now that I have the fold, I'm going to touch it. Now look, you can still see the line. I'm touching it, but I'm not covering it. Don't cover the line. You should still see your line. And you're going to fold it. Draw your line. And then we're going to do the same for the other side. So I'm going to don't cover it. Make sure you can still see your line. And fold the paper. Add my line. If it looks like you have 4 hot dogs in a row, 1, 2, 3, 4, you're doing good. The last thing we're going to do is we're going to make the top of the hot dog touch the bottom of the hot dog. And we're going to fold it over this way. To the middle, spread it out, and do that line down the middle. You're going to need 8 sections. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You can pause the video if it's going too fast. Otherwise, we're going to move on. So, the first thing is the dry brush. Okay. So, dry brush, D, R, Y, and then brush, B, R, U, S, H, because I know it's kind of hard to see on the video here. The next one is stipple, S, T, I, P, P, L, and the quiet E at the end. Stipple, S, T, I, P, P, L, E. The next one, wash, just like you're washing your hands, but W-A-S-H, wash. The next one is going to be wet, W-E-T. Put a little dash, on, O-N, one of your sight words, dash, wet, W-E-T. Wet on wet. Alright, the last 4. We're going to do blend, B-L-E-N-D, blend. And we're going to do wax, W-A-X, resist, R-E-S-I-S-T, salt, S-A-L-T, which of course I have none here in my room. So you'll have to provide your, you will have some at the school, so you'll be able to use that. And the last one is your, Y-O-U-R, your choice. C-H-O-I-C-E, your choice. So those are our 8. Right? And you don't need your pencil anymore except to turn it over. Make sure you write your name. Ooh, my pen just died on me. And what else could I write with here? You know what? I can do it with a crayon. Here we go. So once you have your name, go ahead and write your teacher's name. can add the date. It should look something like that. And the last thing is what color your table is. So if you have the red table, you write red, orange table, write orange, etc., etc., etc. Whichever color table. And of course, in my classroom, it is already written on your table. You just need to move your toolbox over a little bit so you can write it down. Now you're ready to put your pencil away. Again, pause the video if I am going too fast. All right, dry brush. Dry brush is pretty much what it sounds like. You want your brush pretty dry, right? So you're not going to want a whole lot of paint on it. Now my paints are actually dry right now, so this will work pretty good. So the dry brush is, I don't want too much paint, wet paint on my brush. But I am going to go ahead and add 1 drop of water on one side of my paints. Because they're already dry, they're not going to work at all. I do need a little bit of water. Okay. And then we're going to probably wait for 20 seconds. 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So I'm taking my brush. I'm going to make sure it's pretty dry, whichever one you may have used, and probably once I put the paint on there, when I do it, it's going to be able to maintain a nice skinny line so that you have some control. All right. I'm going to change colors. When I change colors, I want to make sure that I clean my brush. So I'm going to clean it. Then I'm going to make sure it's clean by coming over to my newspaper or my paper towel. Looking pretty clean. Maybe a little bit more. It looks like there was some old paint right there at the silver part. Yep, but it's not at the tips. Alright, then I can change colors. Again, get a little bit on my brush. So I can control it. My brush is pretty dry. In fact, it'll look kind of scratchy. As I'm going along, because the paint is running out. See, there's pretty much no more paint. Right, so that is your dry brush. You can also clean my brush before I forget. You can also use the larger brush to create your dry brush. Make sure it's not too wet. And this way you kind of get more of that brush texture. And as you can see, I've used it all up. It's very dry. Okay. Touch it. A little bit more. So you have a nice little dry brush. All right. Stipple. This is where it becomes a little more challenging. I'm doing a beautiful field, and way off in the distance are these beautiful little flowers. Well, I'm not going to be able to draw the flowers, so I am going to just stipple them. You'll need more paint, and you're just barely going to touch your brush do not, looks like I got a piece of paper here. Do not smash. No, we're not smashing the brush. You don't want to damage your brush because I have nice yucky broken ones that you can use if you really want a yucky broken brush. Otherwise, take care of your stuff very nicely. Just barely touching, and you're going to create stipple. Perfect for things like pointillism. You could even mix the colors. Maybe I want blue and the yellows, and I'm touching them together, and it's going to start turning out a little bit on the green as I'm stippling it. I like that little mixture. In fact, it's picking up some of the blue. There we go. Or maybe I want to get a little red in the action. Okay. Red can come in here with the yellow and the blue. When it's hitting the yellow, it's starting to turn kind of orange. And again, we know this because we've already made our color wheels. If it wakes up the blue, then you'll start getting kind of a purpley look to it. So stipple, just dot, 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 dot. All right, moving on to the wash. So the wash, you're going to want the bigger brush, and you're going to want your water to be as clean as possible. All right. And you're going to go ahead and wet your paper down. All right. Yeah, remember this is not watercolor paper, so it's going to dry up pretty quick. And when it's wet, that's when you're going to go ahead and add your color on the wet paper. All right. I can always stick with my 3 primary colors and see what happens. I've got to get my yellow loaded up here. And I can go on top of them. Got to clean my brush. It got dirty before I put it back in the yellow. All right. My yellow is just not waking up. There it goes. Now I have a little bit more yellow showing. Alright, since I'm putting it in with the red, clean my brush. And of course, my last primary, the blue. And you want it really kind of watery. Okay. So then I have my kind of rainbow effect going here. So that's a wash. Wet on wet, very similar to wash. That's why I put them together. You're going to make sure that you wet your paper down really good. Because this is where we can switch brushes. And make sure I have lots of water. Pick up whatever color I want. And when I touch, it just kind of like grows and explodes. Now the drier my paper is, the less it will explode. So I can just load up a little bit more water. And let it go. How fun would that be with some other colors? And again, you have to work quickly. Again, this is not watercolor paper, I mean. So it does soak in all the water and dries up very quickly. Kind of nice for this project because we don't want a big mess. And just do your little explosions. All right. Blending. Blending is like your wash. And in fact, I kind of did that already. So to blend. Let's say I get a color. Keep going towards that. Let's grab a new one. Hello, orange. I haven't used you yet. All right. Start loading up my orange on the paper. Need a little bit more water. It dried out on me. Oh. And in my brush, and blending is I'm mixing two or more colors together to create a new color. Okay, similar to the wash is just putting the colors wherever. They don't have to go on top of each other. Blending, they do go on top of each other. All right. I can even blend other colors. And this is going to kind of look like a sunrise or a sunset over a nice green little meadow. Make sure, oops, getting dirty. Clean my brush. That's better. All right. And take some of the blue and go on top of my green to create my new color. So it's kind of like how you had to mix your colors to put them on the color wheel. This you're mixing on your paper. So it's kind of nice to do the blends that way. All right, wax resist. Okay, we can give our brushes a break. Did I even wash this one? I can't remember. Always clean it. Now, I told you can take any of the light colors, so I'll just kind of, and you do have to kind of press hard with the crayon. And I'm not really coloring. Where did I leave off? Yellow. And of course the white one that you don't see. And this is great. You can do secret messages to your friends. Just kidding. Don't waste my paper that way. But it would be kind of cool. Alright, then I'm going to pick a nice dark color, probably the blue. And when you go on top of those crayons, you will notice it does not cover them up. In fact, it makes them stand out a little bit more and a little bit easier to see. Oh, there you go. Nice little wax resist going. And well, combine it with a nice little blend. Let's grab another color and let them kind of blend. Get that purple with the blue blending together to create. So you can use the different techniques. Once it dries a little bit, you can go on top with the dry brush and do some details. Add some stippling. Alright, so this one, I do not have the salt, and even if I did, you would have to wait for it to work, so it doesn't really matter. You're going to put color, however you want, onto your paper, and it must be the watercolor paints. Okay. And you want it kind of dark. Ooh, what a fun little turquoise color that made. The water's getting dirty, so I'm avoiding my yellows. There we go. Nice little blends. however you want. Once you have it nice and thick with the color on there, then you sprinkle some salt on it, just a little bit, and then you wait. And it's going to take some time because the salt is going to soak in the color, and it's going to leave little bitty speckles everywhere. So I can give you that. All right. And now it is up to you to do your own choice. Okay. So you can create a little picture if you want, play around, or whatever. Write your name. Get used to working with the brushes and how much water you need or don't need for the activity. When you are done, make sure you have cleaned your brushes, wiped off the excess water, right? Returned the paints back to the back of the room. Return the brushes, make sure that the bristles are nice and pointy, and you put them upright. Imagine that's the hair on your head. You don't want to put anybody on their head. You want them sticking upright. And you're going to empty out your dirty water. Put your paper on the drying rack according to which table you sit at. You will see the drying rack has colored tape on there. Please slide it into the spots. Return the crayons to where they go, and the pencils in their toolbox, and return the toolbox where it goes. The newspaper, you can go ahead and stack that over from where you got it from. Thank you guys so much. You have a great day.